What's up, guys? We're back again. Another Wednesday installment of the Ultimate Rod series. And today we are tackling a fan favorite. We're going with the Ultimate Frog Rod. And today we're going to focus on hollow body frog style. And there's plenty of options here in the frog space. Plenty of rods that'll do what you need to do with a frog. And that is pluck some big bass out of some heavy cover, get them to blow up on your bait, be shaking, lose a bunch, get mad, and then do it all over again. So that's what we're here to do. We're going to talk about three options. Format, as usual, is under $150 price point, under $300 price point, and I don't care what it costs, just give me the best rod. So that's what we've got today. And the first thing I will say about this one, there are some people that throw an open water frog, some people that throw a heavy cover frog option. This is kind of going to be if you're just going to have one rod. So it's going to kind of split the difference. We're not going to be going after any, crazy Florida mats type of thing, throwing a frog where you need the heaviest rod possible. These are all going to be slightly skewed towards, at minimum sparse cover. If you're going with a true open water frog presentation, then I would probably get something a little bit lighter than all three of these, but all three of them will definitely do it. So without further ado, let's get started. And rod number one, under $150. So the issue we run into with rods under $150 price point is the same as pretty much in every other presentation. And that is you want something that is not too cumbersome, not too heavy, and is at least somewhat balanced. Now, balance with a frog rod, not the most important thing in the world. You've got your rod tip down. It's not a big deal. But you also want it to feel comfortable in hand, and you still want to have that that quality feel. So the rod I have selected, we're going value route today. We're going $99 price point, and it is the Dobyns Maverick series MK735C. So these Maverick series honestly have not sold near as well as I expected them to when they were first released. In my opinion, these rods feel every bit as good, if not better, than the Fury lineup, and they're at a $99 price point. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. During major holidays, you can usually find them on sale at AmericanLegacyFishing.com. When that happens, you can get them for like $79.99. So I mean, it's stupid value for the money. Like it is, they are way overbuilt for the price point. So what I like about this rod, it's a 7'3" length, which to me, when I'm throwing a frog, I want something longer than 7 foot and under 7'6". So under 7'6", just it feels a little too cumbersome to me. 7 foot and under, I just don't feel like I'm, like I'm getting as good of a hook set. I'm leaving casting distance on the table. It doesn't feel natural and comfortable to me. So I like that 7'2" to 7'4" range is kind of my sweet spot. So this fits that criteria. It also has the other two most important factors, which are it needs to have a soft enough tip. We're not looking for a pool cue here, guys. We're looking for something that's got enough tip that you can, when you're in open pockets, or if you are in open water, where you can make that frog dance a little bit. You don't want just a straight bobbing through the water retrieve, although sometimes that works. You want at least to have the ability to impart some action on that bait. And to do that, we need some tip. So this rod has that, no problem. And then we also need a stout backbone. So this rod also covers that base. Now, I will say, of the three rods we have picked out today, this is the lightest as far as power goes of those three options. And this is considered a heavy, actually a mag heavy power fast action. But it is a little bit lighter than the other two options we have here. So I'd say as far as a combination of hitting your open water frog and heavy cover frog, this is kind of the best option for just a one size fits all type of frog rod. So Maverick series, the whole lineup is phenomenal. Give them a look, but specifically if we're talking frogs, this 735 is just a gem. It's an awesome rod. So that covers the under 150 price point, and we saved you some money too. So we're good there. Feel good about that one. Now moving on to the under 300 price point. Ton of great options here, guys. This is hard to pick. So I'm just going to default to the rod that I think most people will be on board with, and one that I also agree with is kind of the tried and true staple that I've recommended to tons of customers, and they've been very happy with. So we're going with the X-Pride EXC73XHB. This is a 7'3", extra heavy. And this is another rod that I feel like on the value scale, I mean, obviously we're talking $289 price point. That's a very expensive rod. We understand that. But as far as for the money, I mean, there are a lot of $400 rods on the market that I don't think feel as good as these X-Prides do. And that goes across the entire X-Pride platform. But specifically the 7'3" extra heavy is just an awesome frog rod. It has a ton of backbone. I mean, like, you can pull a big fish out of some heavy cover with this rod. And it also does meet that original criteria we talked about on the Maverick rod of having a soft enough tip that if I want to impart some action on a frog, I'm going to have no problem walking it. I'm going to have no issue there. So to me, those are kind of the two most important things for that, the combination of those. And then in addition to that, it's got the right length, for me, the right length butt section, which is something I didn't mention in the Maverick series that is also true. But you don't want a rod that's got a super long butt section or it's really hard to pop that frog and twitch that frog. So it's got to be long enough that you feel like you've got something there to, the rod's just not going to go. You don't want a pistol grip. You don't want to be setting the hook feeling like you're going to break your wrist. But it's got to be short enough that you aren't running into any issues where it's coming into the back of your elbow, or if it's a cooler morning and you got a rain jacket or a sweatshirt on, you don't want it to be getting caught up underneath that. So both these rods fit that just perfect. And then this X-Pride is just very lightweight. I mean, for an extra heavy rod, it's light. It's got just a ton of power to it. So we've talked about the X-Prides in other series. I love the whole lineup. I think Shimano absolutely killed it with these, and this is just a fantastic frog rod. Another low-key thing about this that I do want to at least mention, the hook keeper is below the reel seat on these rods. Anytime you are twitching a bait like you will a hollow body frog, and you have heavy braided line, there is a tendency, if the hook keeper is above the foregrip, for it to get caught underneath there, and then you constantly have to flick it free. And that doesn't make a huge difference, but I mean, damn, it's annoying. So I just prefer not have to do it. So having it behind the rear grip there, to me, makes a lot of sense. And for this particular application, I think that's a really good place for it. So I just assume not have to mess with the hook keeper up on the foregrip. So we are good on that one. So we got the Maverick, we got the X-Pride. Now budget's out the window. We don't care. We just want the best rod. And there have been several iterations of this rod. I think it has always kind of been the industry standard that this rod I'm about to talk about is the best frog rod on the market. And I don't see any reason to deviate from that. So we're looking up there on the price scale. We're going to a $550 price point. We're going with the Daiwa Steez AGS. We're in the 7.4 extra heavy, and this is one incredible frog rod. I mean, it has everything that you could ever want in a frog application. Plenty of power, and I mean a ton of power in the rear section of this rod. It also has the AGS guides, which are awesome for braided line. Obviously, when you're throwing a hollow body frog, you will be using braided line, and at least I sure as heck hope you will be. And then it's got enough tip, and I mean a perfect amount of tip to really walk that bait. If you want to snap it back and forth and really make that line dance, you can do it with this Steez rod. So there's not enough good things to say about this as far as a hollow body frog rod. It checks every box and hits every price point. Or I'm sorry, not every price point. It's way too expensive for that. But it hits every checkpoint that you would want it to have in a frog rod. Again, another one, hook keeper back behind the foregrip. So again, not a huge deal, but I do like that. And it's just very, very lightweight, very, very powerful. And there is nothing in fishing, bass fishing at least, more satisfying than watching a 4 or 5 pound fish blow up on a frog in the lily pads, in the heavy grass, on top of the mat, any of it, and taking a freaking badass rod and just forcing that son of a gun right out of the thick stuff. I mean, that is just, God, if that doesn't get your blood pumping, then you need to pick up golf. Yes, I called out golf. Moving on. Steez AGS, awesome freaking rod. Love it. It is the winner. It is the ultimate frog rod. As always, available at AmericanLegacyFishing.com. I appreciate you guys watching. Do us a favor. So I'm not very good at this. So in the first 3 installments of this, I forgot to do the, hey, go down here and give us a like so we can help support the channel, and that helps us out. And maybe a subscription too would be great. I think that's what I'm supposed to do.